it's much more efficient than handing cash. It's much more efficient than a wire, and it's much more efficient than, say, SWIFT or ACH. Noah Herman and I have basically split my 20-year career, first half in banking, so sort of proper traditional financial banking, from corporate and private through commercial trade finance, and then spent about 3 years in payments fintechs, and learned the intricacies beyond banking of what sort of global payments look like, and then has spent the past 7 years in squarely in the crypto world, predominantly focused on stablecoin infrastructure, but also sort of the majors or the large caps as they're called, and working with anyone that is an institution, a government, a state, a global nonprofit, any group that's trying to focus on moving its funds, storing its funds, and getting its funds from here to there more accurately. I've worked with Bitcoin treasuries for a long time. I've worked with Tether treasuries for a long time, right? Or USDC treasuries for a long time. Pretty much any use case, any geography. The one thing that I would say that defines the crypto markets as distinct and different from the stablecoin market is really just the mechanism. That is, and it's a very defining difference, right? Especially when you come to Bitcoin, if you're talking about Ethereum, if you're talking about some of the algorithmics, very, very different topic. But if you're focusing on stablecoins, this is truly just a digitizing or tokenizing of a dollar, of a US dollar actually is what it is, which again makes it distinctly different from any of the other crypto broadly discussed on the market. I believe they are a genuine use case and making a genuine difference, and that's more because I've seen the way that they're doing this. It is still early days, that is for sure. It is, I think that in reality, there's probably less than half of a 0.5% of the multinationals that are doing this. But the ones that are, and the nonprofits, the global nonprofits out there that are doing this really are using stablecoin on blockchain to do it. And it is a relatively simple solution. It is just another order of magnitude solution for holding, moving, protecting funds, treasury funds around the world. I would refute that. I mean, I'm sure in some cases that is happening, but the most ubiquitous use case, the simplest use case for the trapped cash angle is actually using an in-country swap, using a stablecoin versus a local currency swap in order to allow that currency or the asset of that corporate or that nonprofit to move out of the country. Once that happens, that USDC, that what once was a peso or naira or whatever it might be, is no longer trapped. It is now functionally available to the global treasury of that group. So in that sense, I would say you actually are unlocking liquidity and transferring it to where you would want it. And that to me is a not just a relocation, but actually a solution. I personally believe, but I also have made anecdotal observations and observed the way that the treasurers, the CFOs, the heads of cash management, global liquidity officers within these corporations are treating stablecoins. And I think it's fair to say that, and there are nuances here, right? Like one can just look at a stablecoin on blockchain as a simple step change in the global financial architecture. And they are, in some senses. You know, it's much more efficient than handing cash. It's much more efficient than a wire, and it's much more efficient than, say, SWIFT or ACH. But if you look at it in its purest sense, which is running stablecoin on blockchain and allowing the corporate to custody those assets where and when they want, and 24/7, 365, at the speed of the internet effectively, That to me is not a step change. It's actually it's an order of magnitude change to what one can do with a global treasury.